Yo, what's up, guys? This is Street Champs. Today we got Brad Doss, president of Doss Financial, in here. How you doing today, bro?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for having me here.
Of course, man. Excited to have you.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. So tell the people a little bit about what you do.
So basically, I own DOS Financial Incorporated. It's an accounting firm here in Pueblo. Born and raised. I graduated from CSUP in 2014. I tried to get an accounting job somewhere else, and no one would hire me. And then I just fell into the right situation and just ended up starting my own. So we do bookkeeping for small business. We do tax returns, sales tax, payroll taxes, and then income tax returns and everything in between there. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So what are some of the small businesses you worked with?
Um, a ton.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, last like this in 2020 tax season, I did over 200 tax returns through my firm. I'm trying to think if there's anything kind of big. I know like Madero Pest. I work with them. They're one of my clients. They're pretty big. They're out in Pueblo West. I work with just a bunch of different people, and not everyone's from Pueblo either. I have clients actually kind of spaced out throughout the country, so it's pretty fun. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah. So how long have you been an accountant?
I started the company in 2016. In July of 16, I started it. So just over 5 years now we've been open. Like I said, I graduated in 14 and I tried for 2 years to get a job, but everyone wanted experience, and I didn't have much experience.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was kind of stuck. I was almost to the point where I was just like, maybe accounting isn't what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So, but eventually it finally worked out. So yeah, about 5 years now we've been open and running. So,
Hell yeah. How old are you?
uh, 30.
30?
Yeah, I'm old.
Nah, man.
So
30's a new 21.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I feel young.
Mm.
But once the three's in the front, then you're like, oh, damn.
Are you kind of the younger guy
So
in the accounting world?
yeah, oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It's not a very young profession. I don't, I don't think I know anybody at 30 at my age that's in accounting really, especially not anyone at when I was 25 or 26. When I look back at it, it's almost crazy that some of these older business owners trusted me at 25 years old, 26 years old to do their bookkeeping and stuff like that. So super fortunate. But yeah, it's definitely not a popular field. People, everyone hears accountant and they just think like the most boring, life sucking job out there, which it might be if you're working for someone else, but owning the company is a lot different too. So,
Definitely. Do you have accountants working under you?
I've had a couple different employees. That's been one of the most challenging things. I had a remote employee that we had working that was doing a lot of the payroll side of things, and then that didn't really work out. So then I hired somebody else, and then they quit before they even started because they got another job somewhere else. And then I had some help this past tax season also for about 6 months. I hired somebody, and yeah, she was doing great. She was really helping me out, but she ended up leaving also for another accounting job. So right now it's just me, and then my wife is helping me too. So it's kind of the slow time
Yeah.
in between tax seasons. So I'm hoping that come January we'll be able to find somebody else to fill in before tax time gets here. It gets
Mhm.
too crazy. So, but yeah, it's been hard. It's been hard trying to find people.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of people just envision a boring job, so maybe they don't want to study and go into that. So there's not even a big pool to pick from.
Yeah, there isn't. And I graduated from CSUP. There was only a handful of accounting majors that graduated in my class. Maybe
Mm.
I don't know, maybe 10 to 15 people. Of that 10 to 15 people, there's only maybe four of them that I know are even still in town, and only two of them I can think of off the top of my head. Three of them that are actually in accounting. Like they kind of either left or just didn't even go into the
Mm-hmm.
field. So it makes it difficult to to find somebody that's trained in accounting. But even when you find somebody, it's man, it's difficult to compete with some of these government accounting jobs and stuff with benefits and like more hours and stuff like that. So I understand why it's hard to keep people here, but we'll keep looking.
Yeah. I bet like one of your biggest competitors would be like TurboTax.
Somewhat, yeah. So, you know, I do a lot of individual tax returns, but I also do a lot of business tax returns too. So, like TurboTax is obviously really great for like very simple tax returns or just someone that doesn't have a lot going on, just a W-2 job and like a kid or something. Like TurboTax makes sense because my tax fees usually will start at least at like 175 per return, whereas a lot of times with just a W-2, something very, very simple, you could do it on TurboTax for free. And you might be missing some things, but if a lot of times there's not much that you're missing, you know what I mean? So I would say like I guess if I had like a main competitor, it'd probably be other accounting firms more than anything.
Really?
But there's just everyone needs their taxes done. So there's so many clients. I don't feel like in a big competition with anybody, because I have a pretty consistent incoming of new clients all the time. So everyone needs it, which is the great thing for me.
Yeah. Do you think any other accounting firm that you know of has the social media presence that you do?
I don't know. I don't know of anybody. I mean, that's kind of why I really wanted to do it and pursue it because, a lot of the accountants in this town that I know for sure, they're getting older. They're in their 60s or something, They don't have social media. They're not even on Google. You can't even Google their business. It's just word of mouth almost, And so to have the presence on social media has been huge, I think. And I have a fun time doing it, so.
Oh, yeah. So, so just so that people know, you make TikToks, right?
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been into right now is TikTok.
That's a good way. That's a good strategy.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one of the best ways to organically grow. Still, it's super hard to grow. I ironically, like my biggest presence is on Facebook, and I don't ever mess with Facebook. But I think I have almost 500 page likes on my Facebook page,
wow.
And I really should utilize it more. But I don't have that much fun with with Facebook. I have more fun doing TikTok and stuff. So, but yeah, I've been making tax related TikToks, and then I post those across all the platforms. So I've seen a pretty good amount of growth in the 2.5 months I've been doing it. Posted on YouTube Shorts and posted on Reels and posted on TikTok. So yeah, I mean, I've had a couple of videos that.
Yeah, it's really informational, straight to the point. I think that's what people are looking for in accounting conversations, I guess, because like me, a lot of people don't know,
Yeah, and there's when I'm thinking of like content to make, a lot of times I forget that, and I'm like, well, I don't want to make this video because who doesn't know that? But I forget like, not a lot of people will know this information or something. Yeah, it's not taught in school. It's not. And it's complex too, and it changes every year, every month, all the time. It's always changing. So, yeah, I try to make it informative, but I try to not make it boring too. So I've seen a lot of like videos of just someone sitting in front of a desk, like going over this, and this, and sometimes that's the way to do it, but. To me, I like social media because it's fun for me too. So that's boring to me. I like to do something that's going to be fun and informational at the same time. So
definitely, yeah. When would you say that you started to become financially aware?
Oh, geez, now we're really getting into some some juice. Honestly, in high school, Like I would say 10th grade, 10th or 11th grade, I took a accounting course at Pueblo West High School actually, and I really liked it. I really liked the accounting side of it. And then when I went to CSUP, I was undeclared major for the first year. And then I ended up just saying, well, I like that one accounting class, so I'll go into that. So that's kind of how I got into accounting. But then in a sense of financial awareness or whatever, I guess you could say, that started around the same time. When I got my first job, I was just always budgeting, always keeping track of my money. Um, it's always something that's been intriguing to me is money. So yeah, it's been there for a while.
Um, like, so what were some of your mindsets about it very young? Because like I guess maybe someone like me, I didn't start becoming financially aware until I was like in my 20s. I
Yeah.
started saving money and looking into investing and stuff like that.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it for me where it really like I became more aware of like money
Mm-hmm.
was when I saw my mom basically go through bankruptcy and get our cars repossessed and everything like that. And it was just like from the outside looking in, you would never know that there was like financial issues or something, inside the household. But there was like huge financial issues in the household, which led to huge relationship issues inside the household. You know what I mean? And so I think at a young age, I processed that and I was like, okay, like no money is problems. Everyone says more money, more problems, but I definitely saw it as like no money equals more problems. So like a way to have less problems in your life is to have more money. And I mean, it's honestly kind of true. I still believe that to this day, but I mean, I think that's really where it started was that sense. I watching like the cars get repossessed, you know what I mean? And we had dirt bikes. I used to like love taking my dirt bike out. That got repossessed. Like it was like pretty traumatic when I look back on it. And it just made me realize like debt is terrible. Like I've growing up, I was so debt adverse. Like I wouldn't take loans out for anything. And I still am very debt adverse. I have debt now, I guess, quote unquote, like good debt or whatever you want to say. But I wouldn't take any money out. I wouldn't borrow money from anybody. I just, whatever I made it work somehow. And I've always been pretty entrepreneurial spirit. In college, I was working part time at Walmart, and then I broke my cell phone at the time, so I learned how to replace the screen, and I was like, dang, like that was pretty easy and cheap. So I started flipping cell phones and fixing cell phones for people in college, and I was making the same amount of money flipping phones as I was working at Walmart, and that really started opening up my eyes to like the entrepreneur side of things too, was to just make more money that way. So
Definitely.
kind of just always been there and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of showed up in weird ways, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
Something you just said. What is good debt?
well, what people consider good debt would be like mortgage debt is considered good debt, because you owe money on the house, but the house is an asset that's gaining value at the same time. And a lot of, especially right now, the mortgage interest rates are so low that you can invest money and make more money than what you're borrowing. So even if you had $200,000 in cash and you wanted to go buy a house and you could buy it in cash and not have a mortgage on it at all, the mortgage is only at say 2 to 3% interest that you're paying on it, whereas you can invest that $200,000 and make 8 to 10% on it. So in that sense, it's good debt. You don't necessarily, you make more money investing it than borrowing it in that sense. There's not a lot of good debt. Some student loan debt, depending on who you ask, people can consider it good debt. There's kind of parameters on how much student loans you can get. I guess that's kind of about the only good debt, honestly.
And bad debt.
Credit cards and cars, big time. Like payday lenders are the worst of the worst, but then credit cards are probably the second worst.
What's a payday lender?
Like check cashing places, they go give you an advance on your paycheck kind of thing. So they're usually in like the poor neighborhoods. Definitely, it's really messed up because they literally just prey on poorer communities. Those companies do. You're short like $200, and you go in, they'll give you $200, and then when your paycheck gets here, they want $250 or something, kind of like that. Their interest rates are really really high. Is kind of the point of it. So that and credit card debt, the interest on credit card debt is so high. If you carry a balance, it's just eating you alive. If you've ever had a credit card and not paid it off, which I think probably everybody has. I've done it. If you have $1,000 balance, your minimum payment's like $40, but 35 of that is interest. Like you'll never pay it off. And then car debt can be considered bad debt too. It's just because your car's going down in value while you're still owing money on it. So you buy a car for 20 grand and you have a 5-year note on it. By the time you pay that 5-year note off, you're going to end up paying 30 grand for the car, but then the car's only going to be worth, 7 or 10 grand or something like that. So that's kind of the consensus of like good versus bad debt sort of.
What are some financial mistakes that you've made that you kind of see like young people around you make, I guess?
Yeah, I've made a lot of financial mistakes. My I would say my first biggest financial mistake was I got a credit card from Wells Fargo when I first went to college. It was for $900. I maxed it out on car parts. I think I bought like a set of rims and a set of tires for it. And then I made the minimum payment on it for like 6 months and I never paid it off. Ever. Like it went into the collections, and then they ended up sending me a letter that I actually had to put on my tax returns, and they canceled that debt for me, but I had to pay income tax on it. So that was a bad mistake. Financially, like from a money standpoint, I didn't lose money doing it, but it definitely messed up my credit score pretty good. That was an eye-opening experience with credit cards. And then when I went to college, I took out student loans, which I definitely wish I did not do. I basically I could have went to college 100% debt free because my family qualified for basically free college through FAFSA. Like I got enough grants to cover the cost of CSUP, but I failed out too many semesters. I failed out one semester, and then they took it away. So then I had to get student loan debt, and I think I ended up taking out about $20,000 of student loan debt, and I just paid it all off in January of 2020. I became student loan debt free, which is like the best feeling in the world. But that's kind of the two biggest things I've done that I would definitely regret doing.
So those financial mistakes, they didn't really they didn't stop your financial growth. They kind of propelled it, you think?
Yeah, I mean they they were lessons to learn for sure. If I look back on it, I mean, and I took that $20,000 of student loan and I invested it at 22 years old, I'd probably be $100,000 by now, So I mean that part sucks, but yeah, you learn. There's people that have $100,000 student loan debt, so in that sense, 20 grand. I'm fortunate enough to leave with only 20, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to have it paid off now. So it was a learning experience. I don't want my son to have to take student loan debt out. I know that for sure.
So you have a son. How old is he?
He's almost a year. It's like 11 months now. Yeah.
Thank you, man. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. It's crazy. They grow up too quick. It's been a long year, that's for sure. A long but a short year somehow at the same time.
Soon he'll be maxing out his credit card
I know.
on car parts.
I know. I'll be like, "Oh, Toby, what are you doing, dude?"
How funny. So you were talking about investments. At what age did you start investing? Are you talking about like the stock market?
Yeah, like just the retirement accounts. Well, I worked at Walmart and then I worked at Best Buy throughout college and after college. So I was investing into the 401ks at those companies and getting the match there. I didn't really know much about it. I just knew I signed up for it and whatever companies they were through, like Voya or something, that those companies were basically purchasing inside of my 401k to invest it. So I was doing that. And then once I left Best Buy, I really stopped investing while I started growing the company. And I just restarted investing about a year and a half ago or so into Roth IRAs right now. So it's kind of off and on.
What is first off, what is a 401k?
401k is a retirement plan through your employer. So a lot of 401ks they offer a match in the sense if you put in 3% of your paycheck, your employer puts in 3% too, and that 3% they put in is just free money that they're giving you to invest. So that's why 401ks are so great because even if you invest all that money and the stock market goes down, you're still making money because you're already at 100% growth because they're matching it. You put in 30, they give you $30 right away, you know. Sorry. So 401ks are great because you can't beat them because it's free money. Your company's giving you that free money, and that's how a lot of people become millionaires is through 401k plans, just consistent investing into it. So inside the 401k plan, you have different options to invest that money. But those options vary with who's carrying the plan. But yeah, 401k is through your employer. And they're usually pretty good. They're usually good to take advantage of for sure. It's free money.
Damn. What's a Roth IRA? What is it?
IRA.
IRA.
Yeah, individual retirement account. So there's a Roth IRA and then there's traditional IRA. They're the same accounts. They're just retirement accounts too. They're similar to like a 401k, but they're not through a company policy or anything like that. They're just individual. You put money in and you invest it into stocks or mutual funds, ETFs. You can basically purchase anything inside an IRA that you can purchase in a 401k. So the actual assets you purchase in those two are the same, but the only difference is the IRAs are you doing it individually outside of work. The Roth IRA in particular, the money that you put in, you pay tax on, but when you take the money out at retirement, you don't pay tax. Whereas a traditional is reversed. So the money you put into a traditional, you don't pay tax on, but when you take the money out, you do pay taxes on it. So depending on your situation, it kind of depends on which one's better. But
like in what sense?
so generally speaking, we kind of look at your tax rate that you pay during the year between your state income and your federal income taxes. If you are paying between 30-ish, around 30%, a lot of times it's better to put into a traditional and you get the tax benefit this year. And then when you retire, the thought is that your tax rate will be lower because you're going to be making less money in retirement. Whereas if your tax rate's under 30%, a lot of times it's more beneficial to invest into the Roth IRA because the growth inside of your retirement accounts, the growth is going to be what the majority of the money is. So in the Roth IRA, your account's going to have so much growth in it, it's all tax free. You can pull it all out after retirement and you don't pay any taxes on it. So like if you were to invest for 30 years, 95% of the money in there is going to be what's growth and only 5% is going to be what you put in. And so that 95% of growth is all tax free. So they're hard to beat on the Roth side for sure. And it's usually good to have a little bit of both, honestly. So
How do you go about like I guess beginning one of those?
yeah, it's super simple. Honestly, you can go to a bunch of different places that offer it, like Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Vanguard. Those are probably the three most popular. And it's as simple as open up like a checking account. You just go in and you can download the app and hit open account, and then open it. They get your information and they link it with a bank account so that way you can fund it. And then the money goes in, and then you you still need some guidance on what you want to purchase inside of those retirement accounts to actually invest the money. But yeah, I mean, setting one up is super simple, and honestly, even investing is super simple. A lot of times, it's about time inside of the market, not timing the market. It's not about, oh, I need to put in 10 grand when the market's at the lowest so that way it grows. It's just about putting in 10 grand 10 different times or whatever. It's just every single month I'm investing the same amount, fairly close to the same amount every single month, regardless of if the stock market's high or stock market's low or whatever's going on. Coronavirus hits, anything. Like, I just buy every single month and just be consistent with it. It'll always grow. It's always grown over time. So hopefully it'll keep doing that.
Where do you buy like your stocks on?
I use Charles Schwab.
Charles Schwab.
So with Charles Schwab, I have a Roth IRA, and then I also have it's called it it's just a individual brokerage account. So it's not a retirement account. It's just an account where I can buy stocks and stuff in. And I'm not a financial advisor or anything, so it's not like financial advice or whatever, disclaimer. But a lot of people say when you first are starting out investing, open up an IRA account and then basically just they have what they're called is target funds, target mutual funds. So what a mutual fund is essentially inside of each mutual fund, they purchase a ton of different stuff. So that way, instead of you having to go and buy 5 different stocks of companies, you buy one mutual fund, and that mutual fund is buying those stocks. So a mutual fund is a way to diversify your portfolio without having to go and own 500 different stocks per company. You just own one mutual fund kind of thing. So they have, sorry, I've been sick like all week, so I'm like finally getting over it. But
Thanks for coming.
yeah,
Thanks for coming.
I took my test. So I'm
No,
COVID
I
negative.
appreciate you being here, bro. Hell yeah.
But what was I saying? Anyway, yeah. So the mutual funds, they have target retirement accounts. So for me, I'm 30. Your retirement age is like 65 generally. So in 35 years, it's going to be 2055. So on Charles Schwab, they have a target retirement 2055 mutual fund. And so you just put money into that mutual fund that has your target retirement date, and they will allocate it good enough for you. Once you get in that account, honestly, once you get into, you can keep funding it until you're at like about $500,000 before you really should diversify it, I guess, or talk with a financial professional to kind of see what might work better. But yeah, it's simple. I mean, open up an account, find that one fund, and just keep sticking money into it. And then as you get closer to retirement, or as you get a lot of money in that account, that's when you want to start looking for a good financial advisor that can help you navigate it. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm an accountant. Yeah, I'm an accountant, but they coexist a lot, They intermingle very well. So a lot of times you want a good accountant and you want a good financial advisor. So eventually I would like to have a financial advisor in my firm. That's eventually the plan. So you don't have to go outside to find another financial planner or anything like that. We can do it all in-house. So hopefully by the time you have $500,000, I'll have a financial advisor.
Yeah. what would be some advice that you'd give to like, maybe people getting out of college 20 to 25 that are trying to start their own business, trying to maybe become musicians, trying to work for themselves?
Um, I would say just have your expectations low. Honestly, I guess in that sense, it takes time most of the time. A lot of people see see what's on social media, and social media doesn't, at least for me, it definitely doesn't portray how the real world is when I see business owning, running a business and starting a business. So I mean, I guess a better way to say would be patient when you're starting, and be prepared to work. I mean, I started my accounting company, and I was still working at Best Buy part time for like 3 years. I basically had part time Best Buy job and a full time accounting job for
Really?
almost 3 years. So people people just think they're gonna have a great idea and then make $10,000 a month, and I don't see it. I don't see it happening like that a lot. So be prepared to work, and be patient, honestly, and just be consistent. Those three things will get you so far.
Hmm.
Consistency is key to everything, honestly.
Definitely. Um, what do you think? What do you think about the rise of like stock apps like Robinhood?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. It's kind of they're like a double-edged sword, really.
Hmm.
It's good because more people are definitely aware of investing and stuff like that, and cryptocurrencies. People are more aware of like, okay, I need to invest and my money can work for me. But with the Robin Hoods and cryptocurrency, a lot of people are treating it more like gambling than investing. I think a lot of times, people are throwing their life savings into just a meme stock or cryptocurrency, hoping that it's gonna quadruple, and
Hmm.
that's like more like gambling than it is investing. So it's a double edged sword. It's educating people and helping them learn more, but it's also dangerous for people that are kind of gambling with it.
Yeah.
So,
What do you think about like Bitcoin?
I mean, I like cryptocurrency. I think I think the benefits of like Bitcoin and Ethereum, the idea of it makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? And I don't see it like crashing down to nothing. So I think it's definitely going to be here to stay. I buy cryptocurrency every month,
Really?
so I don't do a big percentage of it. I do usually about 5% of whatever I invest in that month. 5% goes into cryptocurrency, and then the other 95% is going into my retirement accounts. More traditional, like those mutual funds and stuff like that. So I buy cryptocurrency. I think it's good. I think I think it's good, but like I said, it's like a double edged sword too.
Hmm.
People think it's like a get rich quick thing, and I'm seeing it more of like as an investment kind of thing. Because I've been making great returns on my cryptocurrency, honestly, but it's so volatile too.
Hmm.
Bitcoin was at like 9 grand last year. It's at 60. It was at 64 a couple of days ago, and it broke 50 back in February, and then it fell back down into the 30s almost, and now it's up to 60. So it's definitely fun, but I wouldn't put 100% of my stuff in there. That's why I'm at 5%.
Are you in Shibu
No,
Inu?
no, not yet.
No.
No.
What do you think about that one?
I haven't really looked into it all that much. I swear I saw something. It was up at like some crazy percentage a couple days
Yeah, like
ago.
300%.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, I don't know. It kind of shows some of the flaws too with all this stuff, because the more you buy, the more value it has, and if you get a ton of people buying it to get a bunch of value out of it, it works. I mean, that's what they did with GameStop and stuff like that. So the only cryptocurrencies I buy is Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Hmm.
That's all I buy right now. Those are the only two I trust, I guess. My friends always telling me, "Oh, you should go buy like Litecoin and XRP and all this other stuff," but that's just too much, too complex for me. I'll
Hmm.
stick with Bitcoin and Ethereum for now, and we'll see what happens.
For sure.
So,
Um, did you ever come across like a crypto scam, like a social media influencer really hyping up a currency just to watch it all fall when they get their money out?
I haven't.
You haven't?
No, have you?
Oh, yeah, I saw a few.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of tapped in with like the fucking Instagram crowd, and yeah, that happened pretty often. I feel like people just using their clout and influence to take advantage of people that don't know anything. You know.
Yeah, people that are like just desperate to make a ton of money quick.
Hmm.
Yeah, get rich quick is scary.
Definitely.
Getting rich slow is not sexy, but it's usually the way it works. I know I watched a YouTube video from Graham Stephan. I don't know if you've heard of him on YouTube, but
Mm.
he um he was a real estate agent and now he's investing. So he makes a video pretty much every day, mostly financial based. But he made a video talking about some cryptocurrency that Logan Paul, I think, was pushing really hard. And
MILF coin.
is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want
And
to say it.
something,
Yeah,
yeah.
MILF coin.
Yeah. So I watched a video about that, and that sounded pretty suspect from the Stephen Graham video, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly who I was kind of like talking about.
was it?
You know, like, but there's a lot of other people too.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, yeah. I mean, people are just gullible these days too with social media. Sometimes
definitely.
it's crazy.
Mm. In the accounting world, does that kind of translate? Are there like scams? Things you've
Um.
come across?
Hmm, no, I don't know. I've seen too many scams, really. I guess, like social media wise, I feel like the biggest scam is probably some of these courses some of these people are offering. Um, it's just, it's crazy that they'll sell a book or a course or something, and it's just $500 for a course, and I'm like, how are you getting your value out of that? You know what I mean? So,
Mm.
but other than that, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a scam. It's just kind of taking advantage of gullible people. I think you're getting something for your money. I just don't think it. I think it's overvalued, I guess. But yeah, no, I don't really. I can't really think of too many scams or anything, honestly.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I got nothing.
Definitely. Um, I think recently in the news, um, some Biden administrators were talking about doing the $600 transaction. Like they'll look
Hmm.
into it. Can you speak on that? What do you think about that?
I mean, that's kind of crazy. Sorry, I really don't understand 100% how they are gonna want to do it. I know, so I know like your money transferring, like your Cash Apps and Venmo and stuff like that. If they think you're a business account, they're gonna start issuing you tax forms at the end of the year to show how much money you brought in, and it's just all credit card processing machines have been doing those tax forms for a long time. Like if you have a Square, POS system, Square sends you a tax document at the end of every year showing how much money you ran through Square. So those Cash Apps and Venmo and stuff are going to start doing that if they think you're a business. And then yeah, the Biden administration, it's all part of that infrastructure package basically. And they want to monitor your bank account for over if it's over $600. I think the main reason is they want to increase audits. So they want to make sure the money going into your bank account is matching what you're filing on your tax returns. I mean, I'm super against it, honestly. I think that's kind of like a violation of privacy. I mean, I guess they have access to your bank account anytime they want to anyway, but $600 isn't a lot of money either. I mean, I don't know why they're going after people that doing $600 transactions, but these people that are doing $6 million transactions, they don't seem to mind too much because they're funding everything. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
I feel like they want to increase the audits. They want to double the staff in the IRS right now, to increase audits, to increase tax revenue. And so that bank monitoring is all based off of trying to get more audits done. But like I said, I think $600, that's ridiculous. And what I don't understand is on a business return, that $600 is income, sure, but they're not going to keep track of all of your expenses. They're not going to keep track. They don't know where that $600 came from. I mean, what if my grandma gave me $600 wedding gift or something? The government's going to tax me on that,
Yeah,
or
that's rent for most people.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe not even half their rent.
yeah. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I'm surprised the banks haven't lobbied against it, because the banks are the one that are gonna have to come up with some type of software to track all of these millions and millions of bank accounts that have over $600 balance in them. Like, so yeah, we'll see what happens with the infrastructure bill. There's a lot of crazy things in there, and definitely there's going to be a lot of changes again next year once this bill passes. So we'll see.
Do you think financial times in America have been better or worse under the Biden administration?
I guess it depends on your definition of financial. The stock markets have been doing great. They've been doing great basically since summer of 2020. They've been doing really good. Cryptocurrencies have been doing really good. The housing market depends on, I guess, affordable housing is like impossible almost to find anymore. So that's doing terrible. So it's kind of hard to, I guess, classify the economy in that sense. I mean, we've printed out so much money in the last year. The inflation rate is super high. But then also with the inflation rate, I don't, some of the inflation rate is attributed to all the money we printed for all the stimulus checks and everything, and all those business loans, all the payroll protection loans that were issued. But then also part of the stimulus is due to supply issues. So there's supply chain issues, which is driving up the cost of things, which makes it have more inflation. So I don't know. I mean, COVID affected the whole world economy, which obviously affects the U.S. economy heavily, especially what's going on in China, because that's where most of our stuff comes from. And then the elections always affect the economy too, the policies being passed. So I know, and it's just like a really messy time right now. I'm really interested to see where we're at here in like maybe 18 months, a little further out of COVID, and all the supply chains are kind of back and running again, to kind of see where we're at. So it's still kind of messy.
You spoke on the housing market. Do you think it's inevitable that it'll crash?
No, I don't. I really don't think it's going to crash. Like the housing market of 2008, the crash of 2008 was because they were giving houses to people that can't afford houses. Basically, there was way too much debt for the housing market, is what it was. This current market right now, the problem is there's not enough inventory. So I don't think that it will crash. I work with a ton of real estate agents, and I ask them every time when they come in, "Hi, how's the housing market?" And it's, at least in Pueblo in particular, the housing market's definitely slowed down. It was white hot crazy for like a year, because everyone wanted to buy a house, and there was not a lot of houses for sale. So the housing prices went way through the roof. From what I've heard from the real estate agents I talked to, that it's in Pueblo, it's definitely slowed down, and throughout the country, it's slowed down in most spots, in the sense of the housing prices are getting listed and actually getting some price reductions. We're not bidding $80,000 over asking and stuff like that. So it's slowing down. I don't think it will crash. I think it's going to slow down though. We just need more. We need more inventory in the housing market, and we've needed more inventory for like 30 years now. So, yeah, I don't see it crashing though.
Okay. What about like overpopulation and stuff like that? You think that is gonna? I don't know. I guess I don't even know where the question is going, but with more people comes like less jobs, I guess,
Hmm.
and I guess less like, opportunities for people. What happens when money stops moving?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's honestly, like for me, I think like artificial intelligence is really going to change things really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's some politicians that have talked about universal income. Basically, everyone gets a check every month for the same rate. And that's basically because they anticipate artificial intelligence to start doing the jobs of a lot of people. And they're basically going to charge the people that own those artificial intelligent machines or whatever, that are losing the jobs, they're going to charge them more in taxes, and that's how they're going to do that. They do the universal income. So I mean, that could definitely be around the corner. Most grocery stores and stuff don't really have cashiers anymore. With the cars, I feel like truck driving, I feel like a lot of transportation jobs will probably be gone in 10 to 15 years. I don't know. I might be like Tesla fanboying out on that number, but I mean, I don't know. It's possible, to
Mm-hmm.
have like the trucks and everything just delivering the goods themselves. So, I don't know. We'll see about that. Yeah, the money. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just optimistic. I guess, but I don't really know that the money will stop moving. I think people are tired though of working shitty jobs for shitty pay, so you see that with all the unemployment happening now, and that's even without the COVID boost. So people are just quitting their jobs because $12 an hour at McDonald's, like I don't know if I can cuss, but like fuck you, you know what I mean? Like
You can
I'm
definitely
not gonna
cuss.
flip burgers for $12 an hour. Like fuck that. I could go drive Uber and make $12 an hour, and I do it when I want to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think a lot of people there's a lot of opportunity for like freelance work and self-employment work, and people are realizing like I'm making just as much money on my own time doing that than working at like a Walmart or a McDonald's or something, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I think the freelancing and I think self-employment is definitely becoming more and more popular.
Mm-hmm.
People are seeing the benefits of it.
Definitely. So as far as freelancing, I talk to a lot of musicians, so I try to correlate this with that. Um, how how would a musician go about like writing off like a music video, or like how would they make an LLC of themselves?
Yeah, I mean, basically they're a business. You go online, you get an LLC set up, you get an EIN number for your business, whether it's Brad Doss Music LLC or whatever. I mean, it could even be just their name. It could just be Brad Doss LLC, and inside that's now a company, and that company's income is however you get paid being a musician, streams and shows and merch sales and album sales and stuff like that. And then all of the money it costs you to create that income as a musician is a deduction. So it's the same as how I do an accounting, how I do my personal taxes, for my accounting firm. Here's my income, and then here's what it cost me to produce that income, and I write it off. There's the cost of shooting a music video. If they bought the cameras and they hired somebody to do it, all the cost of that, they had to buy outfits for the music video, like the cost of that, the cost to drive from your office, your business location, whether it's your home or you have an office or a studio, to drive from there to the video shoot, you can write off that mileage. You know what I mean? There's tons of business expenses you can write off, and you don't even need an LLC to write that stuff off, but that just gives you lowers your audit risk if you're an LLC, and it gives you liability protection if someone were to sue you. So
Mm-hmm.
But it's just you claim it on the tax returns. Yeah, I mean, anyone who's making money that's not on a W 2 has an amazing opportunity to be very creative on their tax returns. Whether they're door dashing or whether they're making music, whether they're making podcasts, whether they're shooting photo, video, your tax world is wide open once you become a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Are you are you working with clients that work for themselves, like musicians or artists or anything like that?
I don't have any musicians that I work with. Um, I work with a couple people that are just social media influencers essentially. So that's kind of an interesting one, but I mean it's cool because we write off their business trips, you know, because they film it all, post it online. But there's a lot of the companies I work with are just one, two people inside the company, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, yeah, I work with a ton of different people.
Would you be willing to work with like up and coming musicians
Oh
that
yeah, yeah. I mean, um, you know, for me right now, in the sense of what industry you're in, I like working with people in industries that I find interesting or that are new. You know, like music industry. Yeah, that would be super cool to work with somebody in those industries, definitely. And it's not just like I don't know. I'm trying to think. Just like some boring bookkeeping, you know. It's kind of some fun, some fun accounting work
definitely?
to do that with musicians. For me right now, the bigger thing is I'm just so busy, and I get so many people that want to work with me. That as far as like on a month to month basis, I do have, I guess, I usually start out about $300 a month to do month to month tax work and bookkeeping and stuff. So a lot of times like smaller businesses or something, or like if someone's just starting out, a lot of times $300 a month isn't really like a feasible for them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So people like that, I'll still work with them. We usually do like semi-annual meetings, like we meet in the middle of the year and then we meet for taxes and stuff like that and kind of help them out like that. So and then as they grow, then we can move to like month to month things. But yeah, I love working with new industries and stuff like that. It's just it keeps my job exciting too. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's you get to meet a bunch of cool people. You know what I mean? So
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I could definitely imagine some musicians watching this. They're learning for the first time that that microphone they have in their studio, in their home studio, it could have been written off or something like that.
oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and you know even if you're a musician, and you have a normal W-2 job, you know, like writing off your musician stuff and like taking a loss on that helps you in your W-2 job too. It brings your income down so you get, you know, you're going to get more money back. So, yeah, there's a ton of benefits. Like I said, if you're making money not from a W-2 employer, that's like you definitely need to be talking with an accountant at least once a year during tax time for sure,
Mm-hmm.
because they'll be able to save you. A good accountant will be able to save you way more than what they're going to charge you to file a tax return instead of just putting it on TurboTax, you know, or going H&R Block. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, is there any information that you want to share with the people, before we wrap up this podcast?
you know, I guess a little self plug
Oh yeah, of
maybe.
course. Yeah, of course. Gotta
Yeah,
have that in there.
so pretty much on all my socials, it's Brad underscore Doss underscore DF underscore Inc. INC. So yeah, if you want to follow me, I have a YouTube channel, TikTok, and then I have Instagram, and then on Facebook it's just Doss Financial Inc. is my business page. So if you want to check that out, tax season is closer than you think. So honestly, the best time to plan for your taxes is November and December. So right now we're setting up meetings for basically just tax planning season is what this is right now. So if you are one of those people who thinks that working with an accountant can benefit you, you're making money on the side, you're doing some kind of contract labor, you're a musician and making money, you know what I mean? even if you're a musician not making money, but you're spending money, it's still beneficial. So, yeah, I mean, definitely, reach out to me and we can at least set up a meeting because tax planning season is way more important than tax season. So, but yeah, I mean, I want to thank you too because this is like a really cool setup you have going on here. I respect the hustle. Like I really love it. So
Thank
I'm
you, bro.
glad you reached out to me for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Loved having you on. Love to have you back. Maybe I could introduce you to like some guys that I think would really benefit from this.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Yeah, we'll have all your links in the description. Yeah, this has been Street Champs. Peace.